Fish heads, roly-poly fish heads, eat them up, yum.
Woo! We are back. Catch it, cook it, and eat it. And I just rolled up in a checkered cab from the 1950s with famous Fat Dave. We just did the most insane culinary fish tour of the... How many boroughs did we hit?
We actually only hit 2 today, but hopefully we'll hit 2 more
of the
another day.
10 boroughs.
Well, it's a checkered cab. Checker is Checker. It's not
it's its own company?
Chevy. It was an independent, like a Tucker.
Okay. It's huge. It's the biggest boat you've ever seen. Smoothest ride you've ever been on. Picked me up this morning, and I see this muscle car with flames painted, and it's like air filter sticking out of the hood, and then all of a sudden Dave pulls up next to it, and the guys are shooting the shit.
Yeah, that was a '57 Chevy that just happened to be on the street.
Dave brings you to the most unbelievable, out of the way, underground. Some are very above ground, but best sort of local joints that he knows in the city. I came to Dave and I said, dude, what do you think about a fish tour? And I'm kind of feeling like I've exhausted the whole fish thing in New York City. I know you've broed down with Anthony Bourdain for a few days.
We shot actually 3 episodes, me and Bourdain. We shot the New York episode, the Disappearing Manhattan episode, and then the Outer Boroughs episode.
As a guest, it's amazing because for me, it was like totally relaxing because I'm like, well, Dave knows how to get there. I don't have to worry.
Oh, you don't have to worry. Yeah, all the food is paid for on the tour.
Yeah.
Everything's just, you don't take your wallet. You just take pictures and just chill out. A lot of the time in this town, it's, everybody's busy. They got their blinders on. They can't be bothered. But they see that checker cab and it just sparks something from their past. And he leans in my window and he's like, first touch of pussy I ever got. Backseat of a checker cab. I was like, all right, buddy. Okay, all right.
But that's I'm just the cab driver.
Right.
Give us a rundown, at least for the fish tour. What were the spots we hit?
So today on the fish tour, we hit 4 spots. We started off, we went to Harlem, right there, right in the heart of Harlem, 125th Street. We had a fried whiting sandwich at a place called Taste of Seafood. It's nicknamed the Servants of God, that place, because they're doing God's work.
What happened after our whiting?
Okay, so then we left Harlem and we went up into the south boogie down Bronx.
Spit it.
One day when I was sitting at Kentucky Fried Chicken, minding my own business, eating food and finger licking, this guy walked in looking strange and kind of funny, went up to the front with a menu and his money. He didn't walk straight, kind of side to side. He asked this old lady, yo, is this Kentucky Fried? The lady said yes, smiled, and he smiled back. He gave a quarter and his order, small fried Big Mac. You be illin'. Yo, what'd you tell that kid? You be illin'.
Yeah! Amazing.
Run DMC is amazing. Run DMC is amazing.
We don't need our break song, man. We can do it right here. We got the breaks.
Those are the breaks. Break it up, break down. But we went right up to Arthur Ave. And right there on Arthur Ave, we went to this place called Randazzo's. Randazzo's Seafood. It's just a seafood shop. And out front, it's a classic Arthur Ave eating tradition. For those of you out there who don't know, Arthur Ave is what Mulberry Street wishes it was. We had 2 kinds of clams. We had the cherry stones, and
we learned a lot about.
The Mexican dude who was the shucker he taught you a little trick on how to open the oysters.
He taps the oyster with the shucker, like with the knife in there, so that it breaks the seal, which I've never seen before. Those are so good.
And we met, what was the guy's name?
So we found a fish guy in the neighborhood.
Oh, absolutely. We used to take all the fish like this. We used to do the same thing like this.
Yeah.
And at the end of the night, we take all the fish back in the back and they were big pots.
Yeah.
Whatever, soup of the fish.
Soup of the fish, my favorite.
Everything.
My favorite. You're talking to the chowder guy, man.
Forget about it.
He looked a lot like James Gandolfini and acted a lot like James Gandolfini.
This is like a soprano to you, Tony Soprano.
He does. Look at him.
Tell me that's why I walk around with him. Because he's like Tony Soprano.
You come to my house.
Soup of the fish. Forget about his house. Come to my house.
Yeah. It was, and we're probably underdoing it.
You guys want to come to my house? Yeah. Forget about his house. Come to my house. Forget about him.
So then we jumped in the cab.
We headed out to City Island, which you'd never been to before, which I find
so
surprising because that's where you should live.
I know. I will live there now.
Yeah. So it's in Pelham Bay on Long Island Sound. It's only 1.5 miles long and half a mile wide at the widest.
Yeah.
It's about 3 blocks, like Rockaway Beach, 3 blocks wide. You know,
But somehow funkier than Rockaway. It hasn't been developed wrongly.
Right. Although if you talk to City Islanders, if you talk to they'll tell you there's some stuff that they're not happy about going on up there. It's wall to wall seafood joints.
And between the seafood joints is like Bob's nautical junk.
We hit 2 spots there. We went to a clam digger, local spot called Artie's Steak and Seafood for the little neck clams, posillipo. And go take it to the water, eat it on the water. The place itself doesn't have that much character. The people in there have character.
And the clams had some character.
Yeah, and the clams themselves
That's
do.
an
yeah.
awesome dish.
Beautiful sauteed clams in the Bronx right now with the water behind us. This is very odd. So you've got your roasted tomatoes, roasted garlic, some chives thrown in there, some green onions. You take the whole thing, saute it in a little bit of olive oil and a tiny bit of butter, throw your clams in, and you've got New York's best creation.
Then we went to Tony's Pure restaurant they are skilled in the friolator arts.
Tony and Tony's.
Tony and Tony's, actually. Tony married Tony. And not Tony with T-O-N-I. Her name is T-O-N-Y, interestingly. They actually both passed away in the last few years, but the place didn't die. It's an amazing place.
Fried shrimp! Fried shrimp!
Which are orange.
They are. I don't know how they are, but they are.
And I asked, I don't know, they told me that they could tell me, but they'd have to kill me.
Yeah.
And
you ate some tails on the way
delicious.
back.
I never had the tail. I never used to eat the tail, but Ben here was saying,
There's
tail's
one
the best
thing
part.
that I was able to teach Dave on this tour.
Eat the tails.
I felt like I was really lacking on info.
I tell my customers, you're eating and then you're driving, and you're eating and you're driving. You're not eating a whole dish. You're eating a half or a quarter of a dish. Now I tell everybody you can get seconds, you could get thirds. Don't be bashful. Ask for fourths. It's been done, but you have to pace yourself.
It's so hard to do though. You're just like the best whiting sandwich you've ever had in your whole life, and you're like, Dave's like, you should probably put down half of that. And you're like, no. I don't want to leave it behind.
Old places that have been around for 100 years. Those are the amazing places. It's been here for 75 years, and you didn't know it was there the whole time. And then you go in there and you're like, oh my God, this place! I can't believe I spent my whole life not eating at this place. And those are my spots.
It's another reason that it's fun to go with you is because these people know you now. So
some of them.
So it means that you're getting your food pretty quickly. They're making a special effort to have it tasting the best they possibly can.
On their best behavior.
Yeah, they really are. And it's just like 2 things that I think are cool. One, I think you're absolutely right about people who sometimes not just make the flavor of the city, but celebrate the flavor of the city are transplants a lot of the times.
I agree. It's the ones that are making the flavor. Yeah, sometimes those are often are the locals, the born and raised. But the transplants are the ones celebrating.
We're the ones
more.
making sure that doesn't go anywhere.
They're saying something like 90% of the seafood's already gone. So there's 2 attitudes you could have. You could say, oh God, we better preserve this stuff and not eat so much of it, or you can say, better get it while you can.
This is a gang, and I'm in it. My man Ben will f you up in a minute with a right, left, you're toothless. And then you say, God damn, they ruthless.